And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monkey House on WVUM 90.5 FM, the voice of the University of Miami. I'm your host, Israel, and thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope that you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know that I did. It's been about 2 weeks since the last Monkey House episode. We've missed you all. And I especially hope that you're all still here in one piece after Black Friday. And look, I know that as we speak, a couple of you are probably scrambling to get a Nintendo Switch or a nice Gucci purse for your loved one. And I get it. Things are nice. Buying things is nice. And yes, Christmas is coming up, and there's nothing that the Lord loves more than a brand new Apple Watch. But you can't go out shopping if you tear each other to shreds. So please don't do that. Anyways, I hope you're all doing well. Today's episode is going to be a little blast from the past. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I actually would just like to speak directly with all of you for a second. One-on-one or one-on however many of you are tuned in right now. And by the way, a very special thanks to the ones who regularly tune in at this time to listen to the Monkey House, because this is especially directed towards you. So let me just start by saying that I first started doing this show with my friend Andy in July of 2017, about a year and a half ago. And I gotta say, the thought process of conceiving this show really was just as simple as, I'm interested in politics, you're interested in politics, we're both interested in college radio, so let's do a show together. And that was really it, except neither of us had ever been on college radio and didn't really know anything about how to do a show. I mean, the decision to do this show really was almost of a spur of the moment sort of thing. And I still remember it very clearly, our first episode, when we had Anna Chacin of the University of Miami's Venezuelan Student Association on our show. And you guys couldn't see it, but when the mics faded out, when the episode was finished, we were elated. There was this sort of rush and sense of accomplishment and camaraderie that, to me, felt really special. And now we're just hours away from the 1st of December, approximately a year and a half since that episode, and we've had so many fascinating guests who joined us to discuss the issues going on in our world, in our community, with the alacrity, the knowledge, and sincerity that I personally think is really missing from modern day politics. And that's why, even though we started this show during a time of great uncertainty for our country, it's never been solely an offshoot of the troubled political climate. Rather, I would say that it is a product of our personal convictions, our debates, and our beliefs on what binds us together as a country, rather than what keeps us apart. But in my heart, I know that a show like this, which is so contingent on the energy of the hosts, does not deserve a slightly less energetic host. And what I mean by that is, well, there's a lot of things coming up for me in particular. In about 5 months, give or take, I will be an alumnus of the University of Miami, which I gotta say, it doesn't feel like it's hit me completely quite yet. Andy graduated earlier this year, and very soon I will be following in his footsteps. And I don't want to go too in depth on how I feel about my upcoming transition, because Lord knows that I could write an entire dissertation about it. But the bottom line is that my time here is dwindling. And so that's why I feel that it is time to move on and for the Monkey House to eventually come to a conclusion. Not today, mind you. We're not going anywhere just yet, but our live broadcasts will be on the 11th of January, and there will be 3 more episodes between now and then. And coming on here every Friday in this wonderful studio to talk, to debate, and yes, to fool around, has been nothing short of an amazing experience. And we have all of you who tune in, all of you who text in, to thank for that. But anyways, on to our second announcement to lighten the mood a little bit. As some of you may have realized, Andy isn't here. Actually, nobody's here but me, and that's by design. But Andy has recently returned from a weeks-long excursion in the land of the Mormons. And I know he's tuned in right now because I told him to. Well, Andy, if you're listening, happy birthday, old man. Your day of reckoning has finally arrived. But in all seriousness, I hope your day's been going well, and I'm very much looking forward to having you back for the last 3 episodes of the series. Speaking of which, I just got to point out that even though he isn't officially a co-host anymore, Andy has done a spectacular job at facilitating the show and plenty of other things on WVUM as well. And since he's graduated, in many respects, at least when he's not here with me physically, he's taken sort of a behind-the-scenes sort of approach to advise and to assist. You can just ask our music director, Peter, who actually was just on me a couple of minutes ago, before me a couple of minutes ago, and how many times Andy helped him out for Electric Kingdom Live. Good show, by the way. And how many times now and then Andy has been absolutely incremental in making the Monkey House possible. And I've known Andy since February of 2017, I believe. So about 5 months before we were ever live together on WVUM. We met in Spanish class, out of all places, and the rest is history. He's been an excellent friend, an excellent co-host, and bottom line, this guy is going places. Andy, you old codger, if you're feeling embarrassed about any of this, then prepare to get even more red in the face, because I've got a couple of, let's just say, surprises for at least one of the last few episodes. And I'll just leave it at that to your imagination. If any of you would like to wish Andy a happy birthday, or just say anything about the show in general, please text in at 786-309-8861. Once again, that's 786-309-8861. Anyways, today's episode is going to be a rerun of our January interview with University of Miami art professor Billy Lynn. Last year, she made a controversial art exhibit, and so in this interview, we sat down and talked to her about it and had a pretty interesting political discussion in the process. This is one of our favorite interviews that we've done, and I wanted to show it off again at some point. So here it is. And I do want to reemphasize to anyone who's just tuning in that this upcoming interview is not live. It was recorded in January. In other words, if you text in any questions for Professor Lynn within the next hour, I'm afraid she won't be able to respond. But that goes without saying. But with that, I'm going to be signing off now. I hope you enjoy our episode, our interview with Professor Lynn, and I hope that you'll tune in for the last 3 episodes of the show. We'll be back on December 14th for our last episode of the year, and then we'll be back for 2 more episodes in January. I hope to see you all then, December 14th, so 2 weeks from now. But with that, let's not stall any further. Thank you all for listening to this little monologue. My name is Israel. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I appreciate you all, and have a good night.